The glittering intersection of global celebrity culture and centuries-old royal tradition has always fascinated the public, creating an insatiable appetite for the moments when these two distinct worlds collide behind closed doors. In the modern media landscape, few phenomena possess the sheer cultural gravity of the British monarchy, an institution steeped in centuries of strict protocol. Alongside the contemporary titans of the entertainment and sports industries who command the attention of hundreds of millions of followers across the globe. When whispers begin to circulate about private meetings, unpublicized encounters, and high-stakes social dynamics involving the highest-ranking members of the House of Windsor and the absolute pinnacle of American pop culture, the world stops to listen. These are not merely casual interactions between famous individuals. They represent a complex dance of public relations, mutual respect, and the careful curation of public images that can influence global trends and dominate headlines for weeks on end. For generations, the royal family has maintained a carefully guarded distance from the fleeting nature of Hollywood stardom, preferring to project an aura of timeless duty and quiet dignity that transcends the shifting tides of popular culture. Yet, as a new era dawns and the responsibilities of leadership shift to a younger generation of royals, the boundaries between traditional majesty and modern celebrity have become increasingly fluid, leading to unexpected alliances and fascinating behind-the-scenes narratives that captivate audiences from London to Los Angeles. To understand the true significance of these unfolding events and to ensure you never miss an exclusive update on the hidden lives of the world's most influential figures, please take a brief moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. As we continue to unpack the fascinating stories that shape our cultural landscape, the fascination lies not just in the sheer star power generated when these individuals share a room, but in the intricate web of connections, shared interests, and the subtle ways in which global icons navigate the pressures of constant public scrutiny while attempting to forge genuine human connections away from the blinding flashbulbs of the international press. Every gesture, every shared joke, and every carefully worded public statement is passed by millions of spectators looking for clues about the true nature of these relationships, creating an atmosphere of intense curiosity and speculation that defines our modern media age. As we delve deeper into this unfolding narrative, we begin to uncover a sequence of events that began long before the recent headlines, rooted in past encounters that set the stage for a dramatic convergence of influence and fame. The atmosphere surrounding these high-profile figures is charged with anticipation as observers try to piece together the timeline of a secret rendezvous that took place far from the prying eyes of the public and the relentless pursuit of the paparazzi. It is a story that involves not only the future leaders of a historic monarchy, but also individuals who have completely redefined the boundaries of athletic achievement and musical dominance on a global scale. The quiet anticipation building around this story speaks to a larger cultural truth about our obsession with the powerful, the famous, and the elite, and how their paths crossing can create a ripple effect that touches every corner of the media universe. Within this atmosphere of heightened curiosity, rumors began to swirl about an exclusive gathering, an invitation that may or may not have been extended, and a major milestone event that drew the eyes of the entire world to a legendary venue in the heart of New York City. The anticipation was palpable as fans and commentators alike speculated on who would secure a coveted spot on the guest list for what was undoubtedly the most talked about social event of the season, a gathering that promised to bring together the absolute elite of the entertainment world. Yet, amidst the spectacular roll call of musicians, actors, and sports legends descending upon the iconic Madison Square Garden, the conspicuous absence of two specific high-ranking individuals began to spark intense discussion and a flurry of unanswered questions. The world watched with bated breath to see if the future king and queen would make a historic cross-Atlantic journey to celebrate alongside American royalty, a move that would have signaled an unprecedented blending of traditional aristocracy and modern pop culture dominance. As the hours ticked down to the grand ceremony, the mystery only deepened, fueled by previous hints and playful evasions dropped during high-profile media appearances that had left the public expecting a historic surprise. The contrast between the public spectacle of a massive, star-studded wedding and the quiet, highly classified interactions that preceded it sets the stage for a deeper exploration of how these two powerful factions communicate and interact when the cameras are turned off. It raises compelling questions about the nature of modern diplomacy, the strategic alignment of global brands, and the personal dynamics that exist between individuals who live their entire lives in the absolute center of the public eye. What really transpired in the weeks leading up to this monumental event, and what does it reveal about the evolving relationship between the British monarchy and the titans of American popular culture? The answers lie hidden beneath layers of carefully managed public relations, subtle hints dropped on popular digital platforms, and a history of previous encounters that laid the groundwork for a fascinating secret connection that the public is only just beginning to fully comprehend. The sheer scale of the event that unfolded in Midtown Manhattan quickly crystallized into what many are calling the ultimate intersection of modern sports and musical history, creating an unprecedented media frenzy that completely enveloped the iconic Madison Square Garden. As hordes of dedicated fans and international journalists braved the blistering summer heat outside the legendary arena, a dramatic and highly coordinated operation was underway to keep the interior proceedings entirely hidden from the prying eyes of the public. The massive sports and entertainment venue, which typically hosts high-stakes basketball games and legendary rock concerts, had been transformed into a heavily fortified sanctuary designed to host a monumental gathering of the global elite. Outside, the atmosphere was a surreal mix of high-stakes security and ecstatic fan celebration, with long lines of black SUVs dropping off high-profile guests clad in exquisite tuxedos and evening gowns, all while local authorities implemented strict street closures to manage the swelling crowds. The true nature of what was transpiring inside remained shrouded in intense secrecy, enforced by a strict ban on mobile devices and social media posts, ensuring that not a single unauthorized image or detail leaked out to the waiting world. Yet, as the hours progressed, the profound connection between this massive American spectacle and the highest corridors of British tradition began to emerge through an unexpected digital transmission that dropped just hours before the main event. A surprise bonus episode of a wildly popular podcast hosted by the groom and his brother sent shockwaves through the media landscape by featuring an exclusive, intimate conversation with none other than the Prince of Wales himself. This high-profile audio release instantly shifted the narrative, revealing that a secret rendezvous had taken place across the Atlantic just weeks prior, establishing a profound and highly unexpected bond between the future King of England and the ultimate power couple of American pop culture. The dialogue, broadcast to millions of listeners worldwide, provided a fascinating glimpse into a private meeting that had occurred in London, where traditional royal decorum collided head-on with the boisterous, unfiltered charm of American sports stardom. The athlete candidly admitted to the global audience that the prospect of meeting the royal family had induced a wave of intense nervousness, leading to humorous internal debates about proper protocol, whether to bow, curtsy, or simply extend a casual handshake in true American fashion. This light-hearted revelation highlighted the genuine human vulnerability that exists even among the most celebrated figures in the world when they cross into unfamiliar territory. The conversation on the podcast quickly transitioned into a lively debate about cultural differences, spanning from the intense passion of British football fans to the sheer, overwhelming scale of American sports stadiums, which the prince noted would be a massive culture shock for visitors traveling for the upcoming global football tournament. The easy camaraderie and shared laughter between the future monarch and the gridiron champion painted a picture of a rapidly evolving relationship, one built on mutual admiration and a shared understanding of what it means to live under the relentless spotlight of global fame. It became clear that this was not their first interaction, but rather the continuation of a narrative that had been quietly building behind closed doors, rooted in backstage encounters at massive stadium concerts where the young royal children were described as an absolute delight. The warmth with which these memories were recalled added a deeply personal dimension to the public persona of the monarchy, showing a family eager to engage with the defining cultural moments of the modern era. Meanwhile, back in New York, the mystery of the royal couple's absence from the actual ceremony continued to fuel intense speculation among commentators, who wondered how such a close, documented connection did not culminate in a front-row seat at the wedding itself. The future king had previously dropped tantalizing hints during radio interviews, playfully offering a definitive no comment when pressed about a potential invitation, while subtly suggesting that he hoped one might be floating around somewhere. This masterful display of public relations strategy kept the global audience guessing until the very last moment, creating a brilliant narrative tension that perfectly complemented the intense secrecy maintained by the bride and groom. As the ceremony inside Madison Square Garden reached its peak, the absolute contrast between the silent, phone-free sanctuary inside and the roaring crowds outside created a palpable tension that defined the entire evening. The world was left to wonder about the exact sequence of events that led to this historic day, and how a private meeting in London had set the stage for a cross-continental alliance that has permanently blurred the lines between historic royalty and modern celebrity culture. To understand how these two seemingly parallel universes converged so spectacularly at Madison Square Garden, one must examine the deep-rooted backstories and distinct journeys of the four central figures, each of whom wields unprecedented influence over global public perception. The Prince of Wales, now 44 years old, has spent his entire life preparing for the heaviest responsibility in British public life, navigating the delicate balance between ancient tradition and the demands of a rapidly modernizing society. Beside him, the Princess of Wales, also 44, has transformed from a university student into a beloved global icon of grace and resilience, stepping into the international spotlight with a poise that has earned her widespread admiration. In stark contrast to the hereditary duty of the British royals stand the self-made titans of American culture, both 36 years old, who have conquered their respective fields through sheer talent, relentless work ethic, and a mastery of modern media branding. The bride, a record-breaking singer-songwriter whose recent stadium tour reshaped the global entertainment economy, has spent nearly 2 decades transforming her personal poetry into a multi-billion-dollar empire that commands the absolute devotion of millions of fans worldwide. Her groom, a legendary tight end who has secured multiple championship rings, possesses a magnetic charisma and analytical mind that has allowed him to easily transition from the grueling physical demands of professional sports into the forefront of digital media and entertainment broadcasting. When these two power couples secretly linked up in London during the highly publicised European leg of the global music tour, it marked a historic milestone, serving as the very first face-to-face meeting between the Princess of Wales and the American pop culture powerhouse. This private rendezvous was not merely a brief social courtesy. It was the continuation of a relationship that the prince had initiated over a decade earlier when he famously took the stage at a 2013 charity gala to sing alongside the pop star and rock legend Jon Bon Jovi. A moment that shattered traditional royal stuffiness and signaled his willingness to engage with the icons of the youth. Years later, that early connection blossomed into a family affair when the prince brought his eldest children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, backstage at a massive London concert, creating a viral sensation that humanized the monarchy for a whole new generation of digital consumers. The athlete's humorous recollections of that backstage encounter, shared with millions of listeners on his podcast, highlighted the profound cultural bridge being built, as he joked about his brother's confusion over what to do with a beer in the presence of royalty. This easy, respectful dialogue laid the groundwork for the future king to appear as a featured guest on their digital show, discussing everything from their shared love for local football clubs like Aston Villa to the massive excitement surrounding the upcoming global sports tournaments in North America. The strategic timing of this podcast release, dropping just hours before the massive New York wedding, was a masterclass in modern public relations, ensuring that the connection between the House of Windsor and the American cultural elite remained the dominant narrative across the globe. Although the prince and princess did not attend the actual ceremony at Madison Square Garden, choosing instead to remain focused on their official duties and family obligations in the United Kingdom, their presence was felt heavily throughout the entire media cycle, transforming a standard celebrity wedding into a historic cross-continental event. The fact that the future king had previously teased the media with a playful no comment during a prominent radio interview demonstrates a sharp contemporary understanding of how to navigate the modern celebrity news machine, generating maximum intrigue while maintaining the dignity of his position. This historic convergence reveals a profound truth about the changing nature of global influence in the 21st century, showing that the survival and relevance of ancient institutions heavily depends on their ability to meaningfully connect with the figures who define contemporary popular culture. By forging these genuine, respectful bonds with the leaders of the entertainment and sports worlds, the future leaders of the monarchy are ensuring that their historic institution remains vibrant, relatable, and deeply woven into the global cultural fabric for generations to come, leaving the world eager to see what the next chapter of this fascinating cross-continental alliance will bring.